welcome to episode 8, I believe, of my podcast. So notice how I didn't say welcome to my crochet podcast because knitting has kind of taken over. So I thought I'd start off with by introducing myself because I have had quite a few new subscribers recently. So hello and welcome. My name is Sam and I live in Norwich in the east of England with my husband, my 2 boys, my 2 dogs, my 2 cats. And I work full-time as a neonatal nurse, and in my spare time I love to knit and crochet. Although knitting is a very new thing for me, it's kind of taken over crochet. So this was always a crochet podcast. As knitting has taken over, I think I need to rename that. So enough of me waffling on. As I said, this is episode 8 of my podcast, and I follow a typical format in that I talk about what I've been up to that's obviously craft related, any finished items that's crochet or knitting, any works in progress, which is also known as WIPs, any new patterns that I've worked on or that I want to work on, and then any new purchases and plans with those purchases, because I've been saying on my channel that this year will be the year of buying yarn with intentions. And then last in my podcast, I cover any upcoming plans and events that are craft related. So first of all, what have I been up to? Well, the main thing is the East Anglia Yarn Festival. So I have already put out a vlog on that, and also a vlog of the haul that I purchased from East Anglian Yarn Festival. So yeah, if you haven't already, I will link it down below so you can have a watch. It's a rather long one, so grab a cup of tea, grab something to eat, because it's an hour and a half long. But even though it's an hour and a half long, a lot of you have really been liking that sort of length of video. I don't know if it's because of the content. So yeah, it's an hour and a half long. So get cozy, grab a drink and snacks. But I really did put time and effort into that vlog. It is an hour and a half long, but I wanted to capture as much of the East Anglian Yarn Festival as I could, and also to share as many of the vendors as possible. Unfortunately, there was a few that I didn't record, so didn't make the vlog, but most of them did. So yeah, I think it's a great way to share small businesses and to advertise their products, because a lot of people may not have heard of some of the vendors there, and by watching my video they can discover new yarn dyers new to them. It's a lovely sunny day today. It always brightens my mood. Anyway, so yeah, East Anglian Yarn Festival. So I did a vlog on that and I had such an amazing time. I was, in fact, an official podcaster this year. So I was given a podcaster lanyard, and this was basically to wear around the event so that people knew I was filming because I was a podcaster. Many of the vendors were very welcoming, and in fact they wanted you to record their booth because they want their products to be seen. I did try and be mindful and not include many people in there, but it was very busy. So I went on the Saturday and the Sunday, and I'm so glad I did, because I was there the whole of each day. So I was there 10 till 5 on the Saturday and 10 till 4 on the Sunday. But Laura of The Lonely Knitter and Folk Yarn, who organises the East Anglia Yarn Festival, she did such an amazing job. Yeah, I don't think I could have organised anything like that on that sort of scale. Talking more of East Anglia Yarn Festival, so if you haven't been, it's at the Norfolk Showground, and it is very, very accessible. So if you're a wheelchair user, you can easily gain access to the event. And I think that's great, because there are some yarn shows out there that I have heard of not being accessible or very wheelchair friendly. But as you walk into the arena, I guess, or it's like a big warehouse, as you walk in, there's plenty of seating to begin with, and then there's rows of vendors. But the other side, you have more seating. I think that's really good. The way it's laid out and the amount of space that you have is really well thought out. So that was the East Anglia Yarn Festival. What else have I been up to? I have been continuing to go to my weekly craft group, which is on a Tuesday. I go there every Tuesday and knit or crochet on whatever I'm working on at the time. I have also been working on my weekly crafting vlog. So as I said before, in my spare time, I knit or crochet, and I like to record it and put it into a vlog. So if that is your sort of cup of tea, do check them out. I've got several now. I try and do one every week, obviously, being a weekly crafting vlog. I did actually say in the last one that I might not have enough content for this week, but I think I will. So yeah, keep a lookout. And then the last thing I've been up to was just this Saturday gone, actually. I went to Barbara's Day Out. So my friend Ellie from Craft House Magic, she's also got a YouTube channel. So head over there if you haven't heard of her already. But every month or so, she puts on these like knit and natters basically, or just crafting events. I went on Saturday for the first time and it was held at a village hall, which was really nice. One of the lovely ladies who attends regularly put on a really nice spread of sandwiches, and there was crisps, and then other ladies brought in some cake. So yeah, it was really, really nice. There's quite a few of us there, and it was just nice to sit down and just see all the different crafts people were making. So there was obviously knitting, I think there was some crochet, and there was spinning. So someone actually brought in their spinning wheel, which I thought was amazing. And there was someone else doing paper flowers. Yeah, just an array of different crafts, which it is quite inspirational when you look around the table to see what other people are working on. So yeah, I had a really good time, and I look forward to attending some more of those events. If you haven't heard of Barbara's Day Out on my friend Ellie's channel, do check out Craft House Magic website. I think it's crafthousemagik.co.uk. I'll link it down below, but she does have on her website a list of events for Barbara's Day Out. So yeah, anyone's free to attend. Some of the events she might have to know if you're attending, just so she can, you know, keep up with the numbers. But yeah, I really enjoyed myself, and I look forward to attending some more. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I've been up to, but I can't think at the moment. This podcast is coming to you 1 or 2 weeks late, I'm afraid. But yeah, I was busy and life gets in the way. So yeah, I think that's all I've been up to. I will now cover any finished items, which there is. So the first thing I'll start off with is a crochet project. Now, I feel like this has been finished for absolutely ages, because I think I finished it just after I filmed the last podcast, which was, I want to say 3 or 4 weeks ago. I try and do a podcast every 2 weeks, if I'm honest. Anyway, enough waffling on. I will show you my progress. So no, my finished item, because it's finished. This is the finished item. I would have shown this in like my weekly crafting vlog whilst working on it, and also when it had finished actually. But this is a pattern that I've made up. I am yet to write the pattern for it, and I have had a few of you contact me to say you'd like to test the pattern, which is great, and I will get that done. I'll get it done eventually. But anyway, this is a pattern that I'd made up, and it is really long. So this is the middle where my face is, and then it goes really long until you're at the tip. So I haven't blocked it or anything, so it's curling a little bit. It's just a scarf. So how I've been wearing it is, how have I been wearing it? Hang on. So you could just wear it as a long scarf really, but how I've been wearing it is just popping it up and round like that, and then you got a few tails here. So yeah, it wraps around a couple of times like a scarf, and to be honest, I have been wearing it as a scarf. But yeah, I really like this. This is made out of Stylecraft Cabaret, and it's in the colourway, oh, what is it? I can't remember now. But I will put it below because that's the joys of editing. But anyway, I made the pattern up, and yeah, I am looking for testers. So if you would like to, let me know. Not sure when I'll get around to writing the pattern just yet, because I don't seem to have a lot of time on my hands anymore. I don't know why. I only work 3 days a week. Well, I work 2 night shifts and then I work a day shift. However, by working those 2 nights, the day after is totally written off because I'm absolutely tired, if I'm honest. Yeah, that's 4 days, so I should technically have 3 days to do stuff. But anyway, this was my first finished item, and I have in fact been getting a lot of use out of that. I've worn it quite a few times. And then my second finished item is this. So it's a very similar style. This is knitted though. Let me introduce you to the Jacques scarf. So this is a test knit pattern by Laura Penrose. I've finished it now, but let me just tell you, this is not perfect by all means. That was my fault, no fault of the patterns. The pattern was in fact really nice and easy to work through. As a beginner knitter, yeah, such a great beginner project, especially if you've started with, I don't know, the Sophie shawl or Sophie scarf, because let me just show you. So there's an I-cord edging, and then what was new to me in this pattern was this double knit edging. So I'd never done anything like that before, but looking at it, I could imagine most sort of cardigans would have that sort of edge for the button band. So yeah, as I said, it starts with this tip and then you gradually increase until you get to the center, and then from there you just gradually decrease. So this is where I messed up. So from the middle onwards, I seem to have gained extra rows. I think I picked this up when I was tired, and therefore my concentration wasn't the best. And then because it was just longer than the other side, I rapidly sort of decreased. Can you see there? So it's not got a nice sort of triangular finish. I just finished too soon. This end, I just don't like the look of at all. If I show you what it should look like, so it should look like this. Yeah, this is, as I said, it's not perfect because of the little mistakes that I've made. Yeah, there's a little mistake here. Can you see where I've perhaps done some pearls instead of knit stitches? And then here, I think I've slipped some stitches. But yeah, that just happens every now and again along this band. Yeah, what can I say? I'm a beginner knitter. I am going to make mistakes. I'm not going to create like something perfect every time. But yeah, the yarn that I used was from Hayley from Ducky Darlings, and the fibre was 50% merino, 50% silk. So yeah, it's really, really nice. Really nice and soft, and because the way Laura has done this pattern with the garter stitch, it's made it really nice and squishy. So overall, I really like this pattern, and I will try it on to kind of show you how you can wear it. So who was it? I think it was Rebecca Clow. She did, Rebecca Clow from the Crochet Knitting Podcast. So she did a knot in one side, and then the other side you just simply place it through, and voila. So I think you can do this with like the Sophie scarf, you know, where it is quite small, so you have quite minimal fabric to work with. But yeah, I think that looks really good like that. So the size that I did was a size small. In the pattern, Laura has done a size small or size large. One thing that I didn't mention was the original pattern has like stripes on it using intarsia. Because I'm a beginner, I said to Laura, I'd like to do like just a one all over colour if that's okay, and she was fine with that. So I did the small version, and yeah, the original pattern, as I said, uses intarsia, and it looks really nice, almost like French chic sort of vibes. And yeah, it's supposed to use sort of 50 grams of each colour, I believe. Overall, I used 90 grams for this out of a 100 gram skein of yarn, and that was DK weight yarn. So this scarf would make a great one skein project, because I only used one skein, or I had 10 grams left, but it still used one skein of yarn. I chose a really nice variegated one, and to be honest, I think if I would have used intarsia and striped it with like a lighter colour maybe, it would have taken away from the really nice variegation in this yarn. But people have been doing like 2 solid colours, so you could have like a monochrome look. I think the original one that Laura chose was a navy and a pink, yeah, which looked really nice. So anyway, this is the finished Jacques scarf, and I would like to knit that again. Just not yet, but I would definitely knit it again in the future. So they were my 2 finished items. Now moving on to whips, also known as works in progress. So I do have a work in progress, which I won't show you, only because I haven't worked on it, and that is the Battenberg blanket. I did share that I've added all the squares to the blanket. It's just the case of going down the other side to join them all up. So yeah, I still have that as a work in progress, but it'll get done eventually. We're heading into spring now, so hopefully we won't need a blanket on our laps on the sofa. But the next work in progress that I can show you is living in this lovely project bag. This was handmade for me by my stepmum, so it's not something that I can link down below for you to get yourself, unfortunately. But it's a really nice bag. It's got bees on it. So the next work in progress is the Sophie shawl. So I've been working on this since, hang on, right, so let's consult my knitting and crochet journal, because I wrote down when I started it. Okay, so I started it on the 1st of February. We're still working on it, but yeah, it'll get done when it's done. Okay, so I don't know how well I can show you this. Do you see here where the stitch marker is? That is where I left off. That was row 346, and then where you see the tip, which is just about here, that's the midway point, and that's then obviously where you decrease. So I'd done this much, and now if I show you the stitch marker, I have now done this much. So yeah, obviously I'm up to this bit here, and this is the width currently. Bearing in mind I'm decreasing now, so this is just getting shorter and shorter. I'm currently on row 204, so obviously I'm decreasing every 6th row, and yeah, it's only going to work up a bit quicker. But to be fair, I haven't really been working on this because of the test knit that I had with the Jacques scarf. I just wanted to focus on that. So I was a fairly monogamous knitter in that respect, and just focused on one project at a time. Now that is off my needles, I can focus on more projects, which I'll get to in a minute. But yeah, this is obviously one thing that I want to finish. Although I'm in no rush to get this finished, because we're getting into spring now. This is a really long scarf, so it will be bulky, wrap around at least a couple of times, and we're not really in that sort of weather anymore, if I'm honest. So this will be put on the back burner and will most likely be used for next winter. But yeah, that is my progress anyway. I'll just work on it as sort of like easy knitting project really. So I think I'm currently on my 3rd ball. It's Aran weight yarn. This is, oh, what was this one? Hang on. So I know I've covered this in previous podcasts, but for anyone new here, you know, who hasn't watched previous podcasts, I'll just update you. So this is the yarn that I'm using. It's James C. Brett Aztec Aran with alpaca, 90% acrylic and 10% alpaca. It's really nice and soft and machine washable. I do have other colours in this yarn, which I bought for baby hats. And then I thought, would the alpaca content, you know, even though it's only 10%, would that be okay for babies? I don't know, probably, unless they're skin sensitive. But anyway, that was my first work in progress. For anyone who is a beginner knitter, I highly recommend the Sophie shawl because it's very beginner friendly. I can obviously vouch for that, being a beginner knitter. And then my next work in progress is actually a new cast on as well. So I've not shown this in my podcast before. If you follow me over on Instagram under SR Designs Crochet, you would have seen this already. As I said earlier, I went to the East Anglian Yarn Festival and I made a sock set purchase from Ellie, Craft House Magic. And I bought these two colours from her. See if I can get that to focus. Hang on. I'll pop it in front of my face. There you go. So I'm doing the cuff in like a navy blue, which has stellina running through it. And then this colourway is just called pink. And again, that has stellina running through it as well. So I am using 9-inch circular knitting needles. Now, when I started on this, I thought I would be using the magic loop method, but I tried this and could I get on with it? No. I tried and yeah, I just couldn't get on with it. So because I had the 9-inch circular knitting needles in my project bag at the time, I just started again. I frogged it. Not that I'd got very far. I think I'd not even done one row. This is how much I've done so far in, what was it, 2 days? I cast this on Saturday and it's Monday today. So yeah, 2 days. I don't think that's too bad. This is my first ever sock. I don't know, is it working up quick? I've got nothing to go by. I don't know how long it takes others to do socks, but I'm a beginner. I'm a slow knitter, but I've rather been hyper-focused on this, if I'm honest. I haven't wanted to put it down. It's just very mindless knitting. I'm doing a very basic vanilla sock pattern. So I did a 2x2 rib. So knit 2, purl 2. You can just about see here where I stuffed up. I did some purls instead of knits, and then when I did realise that, I then sort of reverted back to what I should be doing, and yeah, and then the rest of the pattern looked okay, if you can see that. I think that was the last mistake, and then it sorted itself out, or I sorted it out. Anyway, 2x2 rib, and then basic stockinette stitch. So it's really easy, if I'm honest. And I'm so amazed with like the world's smallest stitches. Well, it's not, but it's the smallest stitches that I've ever done. But yeah, really happy with that. And I've been working on this quite a bit over the last couple of days. So yeah, caked it up the other day. And I also caked up the mini that I had. So this was a 20-gram mini that I got from Craft House Magic, and then this one was a 100-gram skein of yarn from Craft House Magic. So I purchased these at the East Anglian Yarn Festival at the same time, and I said I want to make a pair of socks, and I am. I also wanted to talk about this little like progress keeper that I'm using. I've got one on here, and then I've got another one on here. So it's a little sort of stitch marker. It's not a stitch marker that you hook onto a project, more of a knitting stitch marker where you like put it onto the needle. So you can mark like the beginning of round or halfway through a project. But anyway, I've got two. It says it fits up to 5mm needles, and they are 2 different colours. So I know some patterns, well, if they're sock pattern, it requires 2 different colours to differentiate between the beginning of round and then halfway through the project. So I just want to say I didn't buy these So they were a lovely gift from All Wool That Ends Wool. And these were actually in the podcaster pack, which I will share more with you later on in the video. I saw these and I was like, I don't know if I'll use them. But lo and behold, like literally the first project I cast on with all the yarn that I bought from East Anglia Yarn Festival required these. So yeah, this is great. And in fact, Shannon from Blue Fern Yarns is now stocking sort of like round stitch markers like this, but without like the extra bead on there. And I might purchase a set from her because she does have a lot in like pink colours, or she has a set in blue colours. And yeah, I didn't pick any up, but I think she did have them at the East Anglian Yarn Festival. I just didn't pick any up. So yeah, I'm getting much use out of these. Just going back to this very quickly, I think I might do this much again and then follow a YouTube tutorial to do the heel flap and gusset. So I have seen them being done on 9-inch circular knitting needles, and I think that is probably the way I'm going to go. Some people who use the 9-inch circulars usually then transfers to DPNs, but yeah, they do scare me. I might just try and do it all with the 9-inch circulars, if I'm honest. But anyway, that is the progress of my first sock. And again, that is living in a handmade project bag. So the next thing that I want to share in the work in progress is currently not really a work in progress, but it's ready in this project bag to be worked on, if that makes sense. So yeah, I've put it in this lovely project bag, which is a new project bag for me. I purchased it at the East Anglian Yarn Festival from the Little Grey Girl, and I bought it because I absolutely love the fabric. I love the size, and it's like a drawstring close, and you have a handle here as well. So yeah, I just think overall that's just a really nice size. So as I said, this is housing my next project and it's basically ready to go. I've skeined up my yarn for that project. I've got both sizes of knitting needles ready. I've got a cable needle. Oops. And then I've got different accessories that I might need. So I've got some needle stoppers here, and then just some sort of barber cord type thing that I can put my sleeves on hold, that sort of thing, if I need it, that is. And then I have the pattern printed out. So let's talk more about the yarn. So this is from Pigment and Ply. I purchased 2 skeins from there for a t-shirt project. Now, I covered this in my East Anglia Yarn Festival haul video, where I shared what I purchased and the plans with those purchases. So if you haven't already seen that, I will link it down below. Yeah, I made that as like an inspirational video for anyone else who had maybe purchased some skeins of yarn and they just don't know what to do with. I obviously purchased with an intention. So I purchased 2 skeins for a t-shirt. I had the Tolster tee, the Suri shirt, or the Didgeridoo tee on my list of t-shirts to make, which all required 2 skeins of 4-ply. However, the other day on Instagram, I come across, so I follow, is it Letty Knits? She goes by a different name on Ravelry. I will put it down here so you can see. Yeah, she put a post out on Instagram with this t-shirt. Actually, I'll come over here and I'll put the Instagram post right here. So I saw this video and I was like, oh, that's nice. I like the oversized look and I love the detailing on the shoulders. I need that pattern and I would rather make that over like a basic raglan t-shirt. So I went over to Ravelry and purchased it. So there was actually a 20% discount as well. So I saved myself a little bit of money. I think it was like a little spring promotion really. We're getting into spring and people are starting to think about knitting tops, which I am. So I really like this. So yeah, as I said, I purchased the pattern and I really like that, and this is the colour it will be. So this is like an aubergine purple with, is it gold? Yeah, it's got gold stellina running through it. I just really loved the detail on the shoulder. So I've read through the pattern step by step, and it does obviously have this lacy detail on the shoulder. So I read the pattern to see what sort of like techniques would be used and that sort of thing. So there is a few yarn overs to obviously create the holes, like the eyelets, and then you've got a little bit of cable detail. So yeah, I'm not going to give too much of the pattern away, but anyway, there are techniques in there that I did look up, and when I looked them up, I was like, yep, I'm going to be able to do that. So that's why I've got a cable needle in the bag, because you take 2 stitches off of one side, put them in either the front or back depending on where you are in the pattern, and then put those stitches on the cable needle back onto your left needle and then knit those. So you've effectively crossed over, like, you know, 2 stitches, and then you've crossed them over to make the cable. So yeah, I don't know why I thought cables would be scary, but just by breaking down a pattern, I can really see myself being able to do this. It's not going to be a project that I take out. It's not simple mindless knitting, not until you get to, I don't know, sort of like past the sleeves, for example, because it is just stockinette stitch. Yeah, it is just stockinette stitch after that. I think I might make a few colours out of this, because this one, you know, it's a nice dark one, a bit of me, but if I want to pop a colour in like a really nice top. So anyway, not a work in progress, but ready to be a work in progress. I was also going through Ravelry to look at other t-shirt patterns, because when I saw the Estee t-shirt, I just wanted to just double check that I'd got my patterns right and that I was sure that I wanted to make the ones that I've chosen, because let's face it, they are very basic, although I have since printed this one off as well. And again, it is a very basic t-shirt pattern. Anyway, this is also a contender. I don't know which ones I'm going to make, but I know that I'm going to make the Estee t-shirt first. So that section was my works in progress. Now on to any new patterns. So the answer is no, I haven't worked up any new patterns. I have yet to write the pattern out for the last one. So I'll be moving on swiftly from that section. And then next is any purchases and plans. So I made a hell of a purchase at the East Anglian Yarn Festival. I will not be covering it in this podcast because I've done a whole separate haul video on that. So if you haven't checked it out already, I'll link that down below. But as I said earlier, I covered all of the yarn that I purchased at the East Anglian Yarn Festival. And I also shared projects that I have in mind with those purchases. I did make a couple of rogue purchases from the bargain bins, but they will become projects eventually and more than likely go with other skeins of yarn. But before the East Anglian Yarn Festival, I did actually go out shopping and bought a few balls, skeins of yarn. First of all, I went to the Norfolk Yarn store, or I think it's called Norfolk Yarn, but they're in Norwich and they do sell some really nice yarn, commercial yarns, that sort of thing. And I picked up this. I think I've shown this in maybe a crafting vlog, but anyway, I got a skein of the Ultimate Sock in the colourway Wales Road, and I did purchase this with my first sock set in mind. However, I hadn't skeined it up or anything by the time East Anglia Yarn Festival come round. I then since obviously purchased the yarn from Ellie and have skeined it up, and it's on the needles. So this will have to wait, but it's in my stash for when I want to make another pair of socks. And then I went to the Yarn and Craft store, which is a stall on Norwich Market. They have so much budget friendly yarn, and I've bought yarn from there for blankets, for a cardigan, and yeah, I've purchased quite a lot of yarn from there in the past. But I went along and I purchased another ball of yarn. So this one here is Stylecraft Special Aran with wool, and you know, it's in my colourway. It's in a teal colour. So I had a project in mind for this, which won't probably get cast on anytime soon because obviously we're getting into warmer weather, because this knitted up will be quite a thick sort of fabric. Anyway, I purchased this for one of the Aran weight jumpers on my list of projects to knit. So that would either be the Easy Eyelet yoke sweater or the flax sweater. No, the Felix pullover. Yeah, I have a few Aran weight jumpers on my list to knit, and I purchased this to make one of them because in the yardage or meterage, this was going to be enough for 2 of the jumpers on my list. And I want to say one was the Felix pullover and one was the Easy Eyelet yoke sweater. Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah, this is in the colourway Ocean, and it's a really nice deep teal, as you can see. In fact, it's very true to colour. Is it? Might look a bit darker on the camera actually, but yeah, I just really liked that and could see myself wearing a sweater out of this yarn. Also, I just wanted to add, this was about £12. So £12 to make a jumper with is pretty good going. Obviously, you haven't got that quality of, you know, a merino wool or anything like that, but there are cost-effective ways of making garments. You don't have to go down the, you know, totally bougie luxury route of merino wool. You can make yourself a garment out of this. I've used this type of yarn to make my Magnus cardigan with, and that was in the same brand, but just different colour. So yeah, just saying, very cost-effective way to make a garment. Getting there. So something I've recently purchased on Amazon, because I haven't got anything like it, I needed to do some blocking, although I didn't in the end. I just stretched it out and it was fine. But I didn't have any blocking mats. So I went onto Amazon and I purchased these. So it's basically kids foam play mats, 9 pieces. So yeah, each square is about 30 by 30 centimetres and I've got 9 of them. So yeah, that will give me enough sort of surface area to pin a garment to when I'm needing to block one. So this is a much cheaper way of buying them rather than buying the specific blocking boards. Obviously with blocking boards you often have, you know, the lines, measurements, that sort of thing. But if you just need a base to pin something to and you're not worried about sort of, you know, the lines or anything like that, just basic foam play mats. I want to say this was less than a tenner, and the actual blocking boards that I was looking at was £30 onwards. So a much more cost-effective way of doing it, if I'm honest. And to go with that, I got some blocking pins. So these are by the brand Knit Pro and the Mindful collection. So knit blockers, they just basically pin into the edge of your project when it's slightly damp, and then when it dries it's nice and stretched out to the size that you want, I guess. I've never blocked anything before, but that is how you use them. So they were all my purchases. And next, I just want to go through my podcaster pack. So I didn't cover this in my East Anglia Yarn Festival haul video because it was already getting a bit too long. So I wanted to save something for the podcast. And because it was a podcaster pack, I thought it was quite fitting to share this in the podcast. When we first got to the East Anglian Yarn Festival, we had to go to the merchandise stand to ask for our podcaster lanyard, which is this. And it was attached to an East Anglian Yarn Festival tote bag. So I had previously bought one of these the night before at the Big Stitch night. So I had 2. But anyway, I was gifted this bag and it's full of goodies, which I will share with you now. One of the things that I showed you earlier, which I'm using for the sock, was part of this podcaster pack, and that was from All Wool That Ends Wool. So yeah, I'm just gonna empty this out beside me, and then I'll put them back in the bag as I've talked about them. Okay, so to start off with, we got a pen, and this is from the Jacques. Pens always come in handy, so thank you. And then next we have a needle felting kit by Felt Wildly. It's a little cactus. I'll see if I can show you. So it's a little cactus felting kit. I've never done needle felting before, but I don't know if I like the feel of it. It's one of those sensory things that gives you the ick, for me personally. So I think I'll put this to a side as a giveaway. So this was the next thing in the pack. East Anglian Yarn Festival pin badge. So I had purchased one of these at the big stitch night, so this was the second one that I got, but that's fine. A sticker. Then I have a little needle minder, and this is from Patch Fabrics. So yeah, I believe this is like magnetic, and any needles that you're working with will just attach to that. So yeah, I've not got anything like that, so thank you. And then the next gift we got in our podcaster pack was from Tea Cake and Make. I will open this without the rustling. So these are her details. Yeah, I met Nicola and she's a really nice lady. I think she's only been doing it for about 3 years, but I think she said that was her first festival, or first time at the East Anglian Yarn Festival. I might actually be meeting her again later this year, because she will have a pop-up shop at Bluefern Yarn's afternoon tea in August. So that will be nice to see her again. So in the little bag are some goodies. So we've got a tea bag. What sort of tea? 3 mint tea. Okay. And then we have some stickers. Some cute little stickers there. And then the main gift was this little notions pouch. So it's really, really nice and really good quality. So you've got a little clasp on the side here to attach to like a project bag maybe. And then it has a really clever clasp. So, so hang on, how do I show you? So it opens up like this and then snaps closed. Hello! Anyway, so yeah, it kind of opens up like a triangle tea bag sort of shape. And yeah, you can obviously fit your notions and things like that in there. Stitch markers, needles, not knitting needles, but you know, like tapestry needles. And yeah, just really nice quality. I can see that going in one of my project bags, so thank you. And then the next little gift we got was from Troublemaker Designs. So I believe that was their last show, so I don't think they're going to be selling these anymore. Either way, I will show you what was gifted, because it was very kind of them. So I have got an array of stitch markers, obviously, because they were known to sell the most quirky stitch markers. You know, they're pick and mix stitch markers. So I'll see if I can show you these at the same time. No, probably not. I'll do one at a time. So I've got this cute little rainbow. I actually purchased another one of those because I really liked it. I've got a cute little egg on toast. I've got a skeleton gummy bear. And I've got a ducky. So yeah, 4 stitch markers from Troublemaker Designs, thank you. And then the next thing we got was from Tom Dyson Woodworking Limited, and this was so generous. So Tom Dyson Woodworking, he makes the nicest like wooden notions and everything. So I'll read a little bit on here about Tom Dyson Woodworking. Included in the box was this sheet, and it says, I create handmade wooden buttons with old school craftsmanship, each one individually shaped for beauty, precision and perfect sizing. My heirloom quality fibre arts tools are made from premium 6mm thick wood, far superior to mass-produced laser cut alternatives, thoughtfully designed and built to last a lifetime. So yeah, he does buttons, portable yarn holders, tension rulers, whips per inch gauges, a huge range of stitch markers and more. So do go check out his website. That is tomdyson.com. There was also a sign on his stall to tell your local yarn shop about him because he stocks yarn shops, which makes perfect sense. If he's making these lovely items, you know, these wooden notions that goes perfectly with knitting or crocheting, it's a no-brainer really. So anyway, let me show you what Tom Dyson gifted, which was really generous. So the first thing we have is this wooden button on a key ring. Yeah, it's really nice. And then the next thing, hang on, I'll get it out without the crinkling. And then the next thing we received were these sheep stitch markers. They look really good quality as well. So yeah, we got some sheep stitch markers. And then we've got gifted a portable yarn holder. So obviously it's not made up because it's in 2 pieces, but that is the joy of this type of product. You can flat pack it and then just make it up as you need to use it. So anyway, this bit here would go up and through the hole and then sit like that. So then you can put your cake of yarn on there and then knit on the go. This wood is so smooth. It really is. There's no rough edges to that at all. Such good quality. The strap feels like a really good quality as well. This retails at £20 for the portable yarn holder. So really worth that, if I'm honest, just by feeling it and the quality. So yeah, thank you Tom Dyson for this. Go check him out. They're really good quality products. Okay, so that's the notions and everything like that talked about. Next is yarn. So I've got a bunch of minis here, so I'll go through them one at a time very quickly because they're just mini skeins of yarn. So first of all, we've got this lovely blue from Blue Fern Yarns, and then we have this lovely mini duo from Castle View Yarns. Lovely colours there. And then this one here is from Dina's Home of Crafts. It's quite a neutral colour for me. Not sure what I'd use that for. Some of these might be giveaways. If I don't know what to use them for, I will give them away. So this one is from Yarn Unique. This is in the colourway Tiger's Eye, it says. It's a really nice sort of golden sort of colour. Yeah, really nice. But again, not my usual colours. So that might potentially be a giveaway or a gift as well. And then this one is from Felt Fusion, and it's in this sort of nice mustard colour. Again, not usually my sort of colours. So they were all the mini skeins of yarn. Thank you to all the vendors that gifted these to us. So next we were donated a skein of folk yarn. So Folk is the brand which is from Laura of the Lonely Knitter, also the organiser of the East Anglian Yarn Festival. So this is a purely British makeup and unique to folk yarn because the blend is, so it's called the East Anglian blend, and it's 60% Romney, 20% BFL and 20% Suffolk. So for a rustic type wool, it actually feels quite soft. I felt rustic wool and not my sort of thing, but this isn't too bad, to be honest. It would most likely be a project on its own because I don't have any other skeins of yarn in like a very natural base like this to go with it. But this is 400 meters of fingering weight yarn, and this is in the colourway Alton Broad. So it's just a really nice sort of deep blue colour. This would probably be good for a hat, I guess, if you held the yarn double, make a DK type hat. But yeah, thank you, Laura. And then last but not least is this beautiful skein of yarn from Chroma Nima. So it's a lovely pale blue with a bit of white just there. How do they dye it like that? I guess a little bit of the natural colour just kept out of the dye. And yeah, it's really nice, sort of just a sky blue, I guess. So Chroma Nima are actually the company that I won the raffle prize from. I won 24 10-gram skeins of cashmere. It was like the best prize on the table. Oh, that's nice. So it says here, dear podcaster, lovely to see you at the show, Vicky. So yeah, let me tell you the makeup of this. So it says contemplation, indigo on lace weight, sustainable organic cashmere. So per 50 grams, you get 650 meters / 711 yards. That's quite a lot. Oh, lace weight, okay. Oh, this is very thin. Never used lace weight before. I believe they had some patterns made up for the lace weight. So yeah, I'll have to look on their website to see if I can purchase the pattern. As I just said, I've never used lace weight before, so it looks really fiddly if I'm honest. But yeah, absolutely gorgeous. It's so soft. It recommends needles of 2 to 3 millimeters. So yeah, it's basically similar needles that I'm using for my socks at the minute. Yeah, Chroma Nima yarns specialise in 100% cashmere. So if that's your sort of thing, go check them out. Everything I spoke about will be linked in the description below. And yeah, that was the last thing in the podcaster pack. So yeah, I just want to say thank you so much to the vendors that donated to the podcaster pack. They didn't have this last year. And if I'm honest, I was only expecting to pick up the podcaster lanyard. So when I got this tote bag full of, you know, absolutely lovely gifts, I was blown away, if I'm honest. But yeah, that was really nice. And I guess a nice way to be appreciated as a podcaster, because if you think about it, we are advertising companies for free. So I guess this is a way of giving back to us for showcasing what they have to offer. I also just want to add that as a podcaster, I am not in any way affiliated with the East Anglian Yarn Festival. We're not paid or anything, and we haven't been asked to talk about this podcast pack. The podcaster pack was a gift, and it's for us to do as we want with it. You know, we can choose to keep it, we can choose to give it away. Yeah, just as a way to say thank you, which is really nice. So thank you, Laura, and all the other vendors who donated to the podcaster pack. That was really appreciated. Thank you. So I think that's everything I had to talk about. I have no idea how long this podcast is going to be. I will try my best to cut it down to a nice manageable amount to get through. Yeah, next on my podcast is any upcoming crafty plans or events. So obviously just had the East Anglian Yarn Festival. What is next on my crafty calendar? Probably the Woolay retreat. So me and my friend Ellie are going to the Woolay retreat in May. I think it's it's middle of May anyway. It's the weekend before my husband's birthday. That's it, 17th and 18th of May. So we will be going down to Ironbridge, near Telford, I think. And yeah, we'll be spending the weekend with Kelly Lay of Lay Family Yarns. So yeah, the Woolay retreat is where we'll go to dye our own skein of yarn and just have a lovely knit and natter all weekend. So yeah, I'm very much looking forward to that. And it's only a few months away, so yeah, I better get my inspiration picture ready. Because when we get to dye our own colour of yarn, we bring an inspiration picture to, you know, pick out the colours and that sort of thing. I better get looking on the internet. So anyway, that comes to the end of my podcast. Thank you so much for watching, if you made it this far. If you have made it this far, leave me a star emoji and a pink heart. So a star emoji and a pink heart to let me know that you made it to the end of this video. And if you're watching on a telly, which I know a few of you do, just pop over on your phone and just put a little comment. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video, and if this is something that you enjoyed watching, please do consider liking and subscribing. That really does help get my channel out to other people looking for this sort of content. I will see you in my next video. Bye!